let's talk about horror. I have always had a deep love for horror. I think it started when I was around 10. I really wanted to start watching horror movies around that age, but you know, people kept telling me I was too young. So my mom finally was like, why don't we watch The Exorcist? That seems like maybe it'll be age appropriate. Spoiler alert, it was not. I think we got to the scene where Regan was stabbing herself with the cross before my mom went, oh my god, you are much too young for this. But by that point, I was hooked. I have devoured so many freaking horror movies since then. But for some reason, I just haven't read a lot of horror. And I think that comes down to the fact that there aren't as many booktubers talking about it. It doesn't get as hyped as other books do. There are definitely some great horror accounts out there. I especially love Marcy and Jordaline's channels. They talk about horror nonstop, and I just like get so many recommendations from them. But I still haven't read a ton of horror. When I first started reading horror, I started with Stephen King. And that apparently was a bad idea because I really don't like Stephen King's writing. I have tried numerous books from him and I never end up liking it. And so there's definitely a moment where I was like, maybe horror books just aren't for me. But that's obviously nonsense. I don't want to write off a genre I love just because Stephen King has soured it for me a little. So during the month of October, here at spooky season, I want to celebrate all things horror. And so I kind of like set myself a challenge to consume horror media every single day this month. I made myself a very poorly constructed advent calendar, and I've decided I'm gonna vlog the whole experience. Do I think this is gonna be interesting to watch? I have no idea. But really when I make content, I just focus on what will be fun for me. And I'll just take you along for the ride. So basically what I did was I wrote down 31 horror books, 31 horror movies, and then I threw in probably like 10 horror TV shows and 10 horror comics. I put them all in a little bag and I picked out 2 slips of paper for each day in my advent calendar. So now everything got chosen, but I've got a nice good mix of things here. I'm sure you know how an advent calendar works. Every day I'm gonna pop one of these open, I'm going to take out the 2 slips of papers, and those will be my choices for what I can consume that day. I put 2 options in each because I did want to have a little bit of choice. I'm definitely a mood reader, watcher, consumer, etc. And so having a choice is very important to me. I also want to give myself a choice so that, say I'm getting really behind on my reading, then that way maybe I can pick a movie that day. As I've mentioned, I'm gonna vlog it. I don't know how these vlogs are going to go up yet. I could do daily vlogs or I could do weekly vlogs. I really don't know. This might just be a chaotic mess. I've never done anything like this before, but I'm excited to try. I think that's all I had to say, so let's open day number 1 because it is October 1st. It's actually super late in October 1st. It's like 9 p.m. because I slept till 3 in the afternoon. Just like in a normal advent calendar, I put the days all over the freaking place so that I have to find them every day. Okay, here's day number 1. I'm just going to number 1 is Go Down Hard. So I know that's a book. Okay, I have a feeling this one might be my choice because like, I know it's somewhat shorter and it sounded really exciting when I was looking for what to put in this. And the second option is Audition. Oh, interesting. So that's some sort of Japanese horror, I believe. And I have not watched the movie, but I've always wanted to because I hear it is like excruciatingly dark. Documentary maker Oyami hasn't dated anyone in the 7 years since the death of his beloved wife, Ryoko. Now even his teenage son, Shige, has suggested he think about remarrying. So when his best friend, Yoshikawa, comes up with a plan to hold fake film auditions so that Oyami can choose a new bride, he decides to go along with the idea. Yeah, I've heard that this starts off almost seeming like some sort of romantic comedy or something and then like gets darker and darker as it goes. At least that's what I've heard of the film. Shit, this is a hard choice. Now, Go Down Hard. What if a victimized woman decided to be a silent guardian angel for other women and turn the tables on predatory men? What if she stumbled into the hunting grounds of a cocky serial killer while looking for her own private murder den? What if a confident killer met his match in the form of a jean-clad, whiskey-swigging stranger in an hourglass-shaped package, and she made him want things he's far too superior to want? Interesting. So this sounds like a cat-and-mouse game between a man and woman, and oh my god, that sounds incredible too. Okay, this might depend on what my library has. Okay, so Hoopla has the audiobook for Audition, so that is an option. But I think I prefer to read these because I'm actually already listening to the audiobook of My Heart is a Chainsaw, as well as I've taken out the audiobook for Full Throttle by Joe Hill, as well as the audiobook for All Your Twisted Secrets by Diane Urban. So like I kind of already have enough audiobooks for this exact moment. Alright, I'm gonna read Go Down Hard by Ali Say. So I'll come back when either I've read this book or done something interesting, which doesn't happen very often, or whenever I have to pick through day number 2. It is so fucking early. And by early, I mean it's noon, but I went to bed at 8 a.m., so I did not sleep well, or a lot. So I ended up DNFing Go Down Hard. I've decided I'm okay with DNFing for this project because, I mean, really the entire point is I want to enjoy horror. I want to get myself into the genre. And so forcing myself to read books I'm not enjoying just really seems counterintuitive to that idea. So I DNF'd it at 20%. I just did not like it at all. I was so bored. Basically, it was about these two people who are both serial killers and they decide to go after each other, I'm assuming. I didn't quite get to that part. But they had just started getting an interest in each other. The writing was very simple, to the point, but not necessarily in a good way. It was very basic. And it was full of cliches that I've seen before, and there was not a single part of me that wanted to keep reading. So I DNF'd it. But regardless, it is a new day with new choices. So let's see what those choices are. Day number 2. First choice we have here is Porno, which I'm pretty sure is a movie. And then my second choice is Poltergeist, which is definitely a movie. I think I'm probably going to choose Poltergeist because it's a classic I just have not seen for some reason. At least I don't think I've seen it. Maybe I did when I was really young, but I don't remember it whatsoever. So I think that's a good choice because it's one of the very few classics I have left in the horror genre that I haven't seen. I'll probably force my boyfriend to watch it with me because my friend that I usually watch horror with, I know has already seen this. In terms of reading, since I don't have a book currently, I'm probably going to keep listening to the audiobook, and I'm kind of going back and forth between audiobook and ebook, but I'm going to continue My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. And then I might also start one of the audiobooks I took out from the library. Other than that, my plans for today are washing my hair and just staying up long enough that maybe I can fix my sleep schedule. That's really it. And hopefully finish editing a video I've been editing for freaking ever. I did at least do taxes last night, so at least I accomplished something. So it's day 3, October 3rd, and I tried to fix my sleep schedule last night. I'm just giving up. I went to bed at midnight and woke up at 5 p.m. I slept for 17 hours, so. We did watch Poltergeist. I got my boyfriend to watch it with me, and let me tell you, that movie is so much different than I thought it was going to be. So the only 2 scenes I've ever known from that horror movie is the scene where, like, the little girl puts her hands up on the TV. That's, like, the iconic image, I feel like, from that. Also the scene where the little girl goes, like, they're here. That's the only other scene I ever really knew. And so I was really expecting, like, a very kind of classic haunting movie, and that is not what I got. This movie gives me more Jumanji vibes than horror movie vibes, which was very much a surprise. It was also way too long. There's definitely like a good half hour that could have been cut from that movie, but I will say, like, I love the last, I don't know, 20 minutes where shit goes crazy and it's really balls to the wall. I think that's super fun. There's also just like, it's just so different from any horror movie I've seen, because I also love that the parents automatically believe everything that's going on, so we don't have to go through that like half an hour of the kids trying to convince their parents that this is really happening. So that was nice. Overall, I'd give it like a 3. I feel like if I'd seen that movie as a kid, I'd probably love it. Like, I probably would have really hardcore nostalgia vibes for it. But seeing it at 30, it was okay. It was decent. Now, time to see what's in store for day number 3. I'm really glad I did this because honestly, I really look forward to picking something new every day. Let's go for day number 3. Oop. Okay, so I did not glue these. So they do come out. Let's just stuff that back in there. Alright, choice number 1 is The Forgotten Island. Oh, I didn't bring my phone in here, so I can't say who that's by. So that's a book. Hi! And then number 2 is The Invisible Man, which is a movie. Shit! Oh, I've been wanting to see that movie so bad. That's with Elizabeth Moss, who I think is just a phenomenal actress. If you haven't seen Top of the Lake starring Elizabeth Moss, it's so good. So I believe The Forgotten Island has something to do with a bunch of kids going on, and by kids I mean like early 20-somethings, going on a trip and ending up on this island that has like some spooky ritual shit or something, which I love the movie The Ruins, and I've been really looking for something that has similar vibes to tourist massacre sort of thing. So I feel like that could be such a good one for me. I started The Forgotten Island last night. I got 30% of the way into it and I am loving it. It is so good so far. Just the prologue alone was giving me all like creepy vibes, claustrophobia in a cave situation. It's exactly what I wanted in a horror and I'm really, really excited about it. So far in the first 30%, we're just getting to know the cast of characters that we're going to be with throughout this book. Anna decides to tag along on her sister's vacation with her husband. They go to Thailand and Anna's just kind of there as the third wheel. She's super bummed out until she meets this guy, Ricky, who she has an immediate connection with. They're vibing. They all decide to go to this gigantic party. I guess it's called the Full Moon Party in Thailand. And from there, they just get really drunk and fucked up on drugs and they kind of lose their way and end up on a boat. They get stuck on this boat with a bunch of obnoxious people that they all hate. And unfortunately, this boat has no motor. They basically, because they were all drunk as fuck, they just like decided to get on this boat and pull up the anchor and then they just like drifted out to shore. The only one who's not on the boat with them is Anna's obnoxious brother-in-law, who is back in Thailand. And he's the one I'm guessing who's gonna try and find them. But so far I'm just loving so much of this. We do get to see that Anna has some like inner demons that she's dealing with. She once tried to commit suicide. They talk about that a bit and they talk about how she's seeing visions and that's what drove her to suicide. So I'm really interested. I really connect with Anna as a character who's someone just generally who doesn't like other people. I'm vibing with her. I feel like in these types of stories, these tourist massacre stories, there are always these hippy-dippy characters, and we definitely get that here. You always get two types of characters, I feel like, in these stories. The hippie one with nature type characters, and then the crazy dumbass party characters, and we're getting a little bit of both here. In other news, I also finished All Your Twisted Secrets, which frustrated the hell out of me. I don't even really know what to say about that because I was really enjoying it and then the ending happened and it was bad. I'm also almost done the show Mom. I have 2 episodes left, so that's exciting. It has nothing to do with horror, but still. Let's do what we all came here for, and by all of us, I mean me. And punch into day number 4. Alright. Option number 1 is Joyride. Okay, that's by Jack Ketchum, which I've heard is like hella gruesome. I've never read anything by him, but I always wanted to read The Girl Next Door. But I've heard that this one's pretty great from watching Jordaline reads. Like I mentioned before, a lot of Jordaline's recommendations are going to be in this. And the other one is The Cleansing Hour, which I believe is an exorcism. movie, which is like one of my favorite tropes. Despite the fact that they're all terrible, nothing holds up to the original Exorcist, I continue to watch them and be disappointed every time. I kind of want to save this movie to watch with my friend because I know she'll watch it with me. And then I kind of want to save this book for a different video, which isn't great because that will be breaking my rule of doing a thing every day. So I'm thinking I'm going to open Tomorrow's. If it has another movie in it that I can watch with my friend, then I'll just watch The Cleansing Hour by myself. But if it doesn't, if it has something I can do today, then I'll just kind of switch them. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so we're opening day number 5 because I'm cheating. It's my game, it's my rules. Okay. The first option is Escape Room. Okay, I know my friend has seen this already, so I could watch that tonight. The other option is Old. I know my friend saw this too. Perfect. So I can watch one of these tonight. I believe Old is an M. Night Shyamalan movie about a bunch of people who go to this island and then like they start aging faster. And then Escape Room, if you watched my speed reviews of horror movies, you will know that I watched a movie that I thought was this one, but turned out to be a different, much worse Escape Room on Netflix. It was so bad. And so I still haven't seen the one I wanted to see. The Escape Room is just about a bunch of kids who go to this escape room and the escape room starts killing them. I'll come back after I pick a movie because I think I can force my boyfriend to watch one of these with me. I'm also going to start picking some books for my TBR cart. I want to switch up what's on there depending on the season, so hopefully you'll see some footage of that now. So we finished Escape Room and it was fine. It was alright. It gave me a lot of Saw vibes, which I wasn't really expecting. I definitely would compare it more to Saw than anything else. I do like the two main characters, and I think it's interesting the way they're trying to set it up as a series. I'd probably watch another one, but I wasn't like blown away by how great it was. It's just kind of easy and fun, I guess. Saw, but for tweens. I give it like a 3.5 probably. Now I'm thinking about taking a bath, and the problem is that I don't have anything currently that I'm physically reading. Everything I'm currently reading is on ebook. Normally I just read on my phone in the bath, but I've already dropped my phone in the water once this week in the bathtub, so I think I'm going to start a physical book, especially because I actually don't have a lot of books I'm currently in the middle of. Normally I do have a couple, so I'm alright starting something new. have my bookshelf here, or my book cart here. These are all like fall winter type books, like I said. And I'm kind of thinking of just picking this one because it's like nice and short. Especially because like I don't know how much stuff I'm gonna end up reading because of the advent calendar. Right now I'm currently not reading a lot though. I could read Hex. I've had this for a while. It's like 350 pages, so it's not that bad. Okay, I'm changing my mind. I'm gonna choose Hex. I believe this is about a town with some sort of like curse on it or some type of folklore of some sort about this old witch. And there's some sort of quarantine in the town. They're not allowed to leave. And if they do leave, then they're setting the witch loose or something. I'm not totally sure. I picked this up a really long time ago. I didn't bother to update yesterday since I had already chosen 2 prompts in one day, so I have a little bit to talk about, I guess. I watched The Cleansing Hour with my friend Amber last night, and I actually really enjoyed it. This one was about this guy who, he's almost like a Chris Angel type, and he runs this TV show with his best friend where they exorcise demons, except obviously it's all a load of crap. They're faking it until, of course, they're not. So eventually they run into this one demon who happens to take over the producer's girlfriend. First of all, Kyle Gallner is in this. He plays the producer, and I have loved Kyle Gallner ever since Veronica Mars. And I actually think he's what made a lot of this work because he does a really, really good job in this movie. Like, a surprisingly good for the fact that it's just some crappy Shudder original horror movie. I enjoy a lot of the demon backstory type stuff. I don't enjoy the main character's backstory. I just like don't think it works out well. They keep trying to like add these little flashbacks in and they just do nothing. Overall, I enjoyed this. I would say it's like kind of your average Supernatural episode, but with better acting. Not to say that Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki aren't good actors, but after you've seen them do the same shtick 300 episodes a piece, it doesn't work as well. So I'd probably give this movie like a 3.5. It was pretty good. And then I finished The Forgotten Island by David something. I have a picture on the screen. I really enjoyed this for what it was as well. This is just exactly what I was needing and looking for. This was very much, like I said before, like Tourist Massacre. Every single character in this pretty much you hate. They're all awful people in one way or another, but this book has such a good sense of humor about it. It made me laugh out loud several times in ways I wasn't expecting. There are definitely some drawbacks. I feel like this wasn't effective in the horror elements as much. Like, this deals a lot with spiders and stuff, and I hate spiders and any sort of like insects and stuff, so I feel like this really should have given me the creeps, and it didn't as much as I feel like it could have. And I think that's because it's super fast paced. Like, it doesn't really stick around in any gory scene for too long. I'd also say this is probably a 3.5. I rounded up to 4 stars on Goodreads because I really did enjoy it. I think too, the fact that you hate all of these characters so much, it almost makes it like this good karmic feeling when you get to watch them be brutally killed, so it's a fun time. I also started Hex, which isn't in my advent calendar, but like I'm really enjoying it as well. I'm only like 50 pages in, but it also just like has a really fun sense of humor about it, so I'm not too far into it, but so far it's good. Alright, time for day number 6. I'm really hoping for a book since I just finished The Forgotten Island and I'm in the mood to read today. Okay, so this is a movie. The first thing is The Blair Witch Project. I don't know how, but I have never seen the original Blair Witch Project. I really hate found footage and horror, and so this really never appealed to me. I have seen the remake though, and I actually liked it for what it was. Okay, and this one, please be a book. Please be a book. This one is The Summer Is Ended. Oh, that had a really long title, and that's why I just wrote down The Summer Is Ended. That's what I'm going to be picking up because, like I said, I want a book. I'll tell you about it later. So I have absolutely zero updates. I did not read anything horror last night. I ended up starting Neverseen, which is the 4th book in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series, which obviously has nothing to do with horror, but I was in a sad mood, so I felt like reading something comforting. I can tell you what yesterday's book choice was and what it's about. So the book I chose yesterday is called The Summer Is Ended and We Are Not Yet Saved by Joey Camo. Martin is going to Bible camp for the summer. He's going to learn archery and swimming, and he's going to make new friends. He's pretty excited, but that's probably because nobody told him that this is a horror novel. I'm hoping that means it'll have a bit of like meta feeling to it because I enjoy that. Alright, let's open today's date, which is, I don't know, the 7th, I think? Yeah. Okay, so first choice, Last Days. And the second one is Ring. Interesting. Ring is literally the book the movie is based off of. I've actually never seen The Ring for some reason. I think I've seen the second one, though. So Last Days is by Brian Evenson. The story follows Klein, a brutally dismembered detective, forcibly recruited to solve a murder inside the cult. So that sounds exciting, and I have a feeling that's what I'm going to choose because I love a good cult book. I love how the other day I was really looking for a book and now I've got a couple of them to read. And I am falling behind. Alright, well, I will see what's available at my library because shit's expensive. Going with Last Days because it's available on Script.